All right, well, hello everyone. So we're doing some Genshin today. I was originally going to do some Wuthering Waves, but then stuff happened, and I was like, I have not played Genshin today, so we're going to be doing some Genshin, just some, dailies, using some resin, things like that, and so on and so forth. So let us hop over to the gameplay. There we go, and let's get around to doing stuff. All right. Well, first off, we have the Overflow Mastery. I think I'll do Violet Court today. Because I'm trying to raise up my Kokomi, and she needs these. Let's just go do this right now before I forget. Also, it looks like the commissions are in Inazuma anyway, so that'll help. I hope everyone is doing good and all that jazz. We're getting down to a little bit of the wire. I think 4.7 is going to be coming out next Tuesday/Wednesday, depending on your time zone.
Gather. Remember, health comes first.
Strike a pose!
Silence. I will have order. Stabilize.
Let the world collide!
Out your head. Free. Solidify. Picked the wrong test subject.
I saw an animation before of what was it? It was like Ether acting like he was gonna kiss Farina, and then he teased her by pulling back, and Nivilet got so mad at him that he basically hydroplasted him. And so like, ha, serves you right, poor Farina.
Seems like an emergency. Another test subject.
Yoo-hoo!
Settle down. Fall before me. Let the mighty be humble. You will cut down this like this. The wrong test subject. The wrong test subject. Mind the side effects.
The doctor will see you now.
We'll do 3 of these and then maybe use the rest on artifacts. I think I have enough.
Another test. Taking a turn for the better.
Strike a pose!
Like, I think I have enough talent books for Kokomi but her artifacts are all kind of low, so.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Shower me with praise.
There you go.
Mind the side effects.
Okay. Now, to be honest, I don't know if that actually counts as. How pretty that is. Yeah, no. It was like it's part of an event, but since it's just domain, it's not actually considered a counterpoint. So we'll just go around. Gotta do our dailies. I want to switch over to my friendship team. Yeah, I'm trying to do kind of a thing where I will put different characters into my team. Um, and then use them for doing daily commissions so they can raise up their friendship levels and things. But the thing is, I also want them to be like battle ready by the time they get to level 10. And just the other day, Kokumi got to level 10 and she's not ready. So I'm like, okay.
Seems like an emergency.
Protectors, allow me.
Scatter! Skyward! Laid bare.
Yeah, because like if you look at this, because like I have Arlecchino, full level, full weapon. Her artifacts need a tiny bit more levels, but they're pretty good. And then her talents are all. She needs a little bit more, but she needs her own boss. So and you can only get so many. Oh, I could probably level up that one. Do that one. I think I'm planning on getting her to 10-10. It's hard to decide sometimes because you have just so many crowns. Oh, hi Blaze, thanks for the follow. Thanks for coming. I like the Paimons. Behold my Paimon army. Oh no. a fate a fate worse than death, Paimon army. Oh, like, I don't know. I guess a Paimon army wouldn't be that bad. She could be annoying sometimes, but she's not that bad. And here we go. Boop. I will say, I think this, the bundle wings really do fit Cloud Retainer really well. The thing is, I know Cloud Retainer has a uh, a more humanish name. But whenever I say her name, I keep mixing it up with Shenhe because they sound so similar.
Riveting.
Where'd the other one go? Huh? Where did he go? He go through the wall?
Mind the side effects.
He's like, he was there and then suddenly, nope, gone. I guess he must have run through that crack and then ran over that direction.
A bitter pill to swallow. Mind the side effects.
Yeah. You know what's kind of funny about Baizu's shield? His shield doesn't work in the traditional way a shield does. Like, for example, like Zhongli or Noelle's shield. His shield more works in the sense of, oh, he puts it up, and then if you happen to get hit, it'll heal you from whatever damage you end up suffering. So it doesn't stop damage from coming in, it just heals the damage that you do get. So I thought it was kind of interesting. All right. Oops. I think the last one is talking to that little kid again. Or maybe no, maybe it's the writing one. This is like the 5th time I've gotten this one. It must be trying to tell me something. Last time I completely agreed with the editor. And now I guess I will agree with the writer this time. Because I know that with the they recently updated this whole thing to make it so that if you happen to be missing an achievement, like, let me see. if you haven't gotten it, they will keep giving it to you. So thing is, this guy reminds me of in the book Scum Villain. There is a book called Scum Villain Self Saving System, and it was in the book. There's a book called Proud Immortal Demon Way. Okay, and part of the book talks about how in Proud Immortal Demon Way you've got this character who is they call it a stallion novel, and he's a character, he's the big hero, everybody, he gets all the girls, so on and so forth, and the writer just keeps giving this main character more and more superpowers, basically, to get over any obstacle, and everybody within the book is complaining about this invert universe book. Until they basically get sucked into it as an isekai, and then kind of start working in a different direction. All right, I think that was it. Ugh.
Should I report this to my superiors?
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild. Thank you for completing today's commissions. Here is your reward. Ad Astra Abyssosk.
Yeah. Yeah, we got 4 days and 19 hours. Meaning that 4.7 will be going live late Tuesday, probably about 9 or 10 o'clock EST, and then it'll be pretty much open for everyone by Wednesday. And then after that, we're gonna have, or I should say, before that, we should have drip marketing for 4.8, and then after that, we'll have Natland, which, yay, Natland. It feels kind of funny because it's like, it feels like we just got to Fontaine, or not just got to it, but like, no, behind the umbrellas. But like, we've only been in it for a few months. All right, we got that. I think, let's see. Yeah, I think what she needs is these. The stinky specters. Let's go fight some of these guys. Go with this. Because Brina can walk us across the water, and so we don't drown on the way.
May I present?
Yeah, I remember when the specters were first put in, everybody was like, oh, they're gonna be like flying slimes. And then they were so much worse. And everybody was like, I hate fighting these things. I hate them. They did adjust them a little bit. Like for now, for example, they can be pulled into like Animo crowd control now.
Gather.
The doctor will see you.
Ah! Mind the side of it. Order guide you.
But they are still kind of a pain in the butt. Because they are immune to whatever element they are. So like I can't use Farina or Nivolette on these guys.
Stabilize.
Because these guys specifically are Hydro.
A bitter pill to swallow. Yeah. Yeah. Ah! Taking a turn for the better. Mind the side effects. A bitter pill to swallow. Solidify.
The Hydro ones are kind of especially annoying because they can heal themselves.
Gather. Remember, health comes first.
These guys, though, aren't as lucky.
This is order. Solidify.
The doctor will see you.
A bitter pill to swallow.
That one's a pretty good one.
The doctor will see you.
Oh, wait. They'll be immune. I shouldn't do that one.
Taking a turn for the better. Mind the side effects.
There we go. Let's see. Where's the other one? There he is.
Stabilize. Remember, health comes first. A bitter pill to swallow.
The show begins!
Honestly, Farina is the type of unit where even if you don't like her character at all, she is way too useful to sleep on. Even if you're just going to be like, I'm going to leave her at level 1 and just use her to walk around on the water. I do feel kind of bad for Kokomi though, because walking on the water used to be Kokomi's thing. However, unlike Farina, Kokomi actually
Oh, brilliant!
needs to charge her ultimate in order to walk on the water. So you use her ultimate, and then once it runs out, that's it. Like, if she was standing out here, she wouldn't be able to charge her ultimate because there's nothing to attack. So,
May I present?
well, meanwhile with Farina, her skill cools down faster than it actually goes out. So, as long as you're paying attention, she's never gonna start swimming in the water.
I will have order. Gather.
Ah,
Bow your head. Mind the side effects. Yeah. A bitter pill to swallow. Solidify.
the doctor was seeing.
Come.
Let's see. Oh, yes, I did. It was his Paimon army.
Order guide.
Hi, Benhua. Hi, Zoanope. Sorry, I didn't see your thing. I was too busy fighting these little guys.
Mind the side effects.
The doctor was seeing.
Seems like an emergency. A bitter pill to swallow. Stabilize.
Thank you guys for coming. We're just doing some Genshin. I was originally going to be doing some Wuthering Waves, but I got down to stream time and I went, I have not played Genshin today. I need to do my dailies. So I was like, okay, let's do dailies, Genshin dailies, and then tomorrow we'll do Wuthering Waves. Whoop. Yeah, recently I tried to adjust the colors on my computer to make Wuthering Waves look a little bit brighter and everything. And while it did, I hopped back onto Genshin and I had to change it back. It looks so weird. And I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, what happened to Genshin? It looks too off.
The doctor was seeing.
Can you stop healing?
For the better.
Ah!
Strike a
we go. Because the thing is, I've been playing Genshin every day for about 4 years, and so when it changed too drastically, my brain was just like, "This does not look right." I feel uncomfortable. What happened to my Genshin? So I changed it back. Although I found that if you adjust the brightness, it basically does a similar aspect. So, yeah. I know when Nibulette was first coming out, people heard his battle cry noises, and everybody was like, "Why does he sound like that? What's happening?" It's like, well, hey, when he wants to use his power, he's fierce.
This is order. Stabilize. Seems like an emergency.
The doctor was seeing.
The other one go. Oh, there it is. Zhongli's pillar was hiding it. Yeah, yeah. Hua.
Strike a pose.
A bitter pill to swallow. Remember, health comes first. Mind the side effects. Bow your head.
The doctor was seeing.
Taking a turn for the better.
Yeah.
Order guide you. Solidify.
Shower me with praise.
A bitter pill to swallow.
A break? No.
Mind the side effects.
I say no because if I took a break, I'd get behind.
The doctor was seen.
And really, it's not like I, grind all day long and wear myself out. So, I mean, I think the only way I would take a break from Genshin is if they did something really, really horrible. Like, killed my favorite character or, made things really unfair. Like, they did something like, oh, we're gonna change the limited banner currency to this new thing, so now all their savings are useless. You know? One of those maneuvers. Which I don't think they'd ever do because,
Gather.
Strike a pose.
Mind the side effects.
The doctor was seen.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I am definitely invested. Yeah, it isn't that hard when you're caught up. Took a break, now I'm months back on content. Yeah. That's the problem with gotcha adventure games like that.
Rise.
Oops.
Yoo-hoo!
I will have order.
You get too far behind and then it can be hard to catch up. Ah! Ugh. Caught me in a whirlwind there.
Mind the side effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Blaze knows. But he's doing good. I mean, when he took a break, he hadn't even gotten to Inazuma. And now he's through Inazuma and heading towards Sumeru. So, I think it's one of those things where it's not that hard to catch up, once you kind of put your mind to it. Or this side. You just have to get to it.
Solidify. A bitter pill to swallow.
A lot of water ones here.
Remember, health comes first. Mind the side effects.
The little Geo one over there.
Shower me with the...
Right. That's all for today for that part. Now let's hop over. Yeah, To be honest, I think it really helps since they went and they made the, oh, you can just substitute your like doing the story and doing events for the daily commissions, because I know before like Blaze would go on and he'd be like, I don't have time to do the story because it's like I get on, I do dailies, and then I have to get off because of I have other stuff to do, and
The doctor will see you now.
A bitter pill to swallow.
but now because the story counts, he basically can use the events or use the story to just be like, okay, there you go, and it basically doubles up. Let's craft that. This. I mean, originally when it first started, I was like, oh, I'm not going to use, I'm always going to do my commissions. I love doing my commissions. But then I found that, yeah, it actually was kind of nice to not have to do them all the time. Just go open a treasure chest or do an event instead. It was kind of relaxing. All right. See what we can do for her. Do this one. That one. I know technically some people say like, oh, don't do, the regular attack. But I like keeping them even, so that one. Okay. Great. Well, hey, we got up some good levels. That's good. Let's see. I have Inazuma, the green area of Sumeru, and the first areas of Fontaine at 100%. Everything else after that, I haven't done much. Yeah.
Scenery along the way.
You're about to collapse, aren't you?
Well, at least you got that stuff done, right? Also, too, it's like it's not a big rush. You do it when you get to it. I mean, the only thing I would say about like, oh, you might want to stay up with the story is because if you care about spoilers and you're all like, I want to just be able to play the story, and not get spoiled. It's better to do the story sooner rather than later. All right, so let's see. Guess let's go do 2 of these. Because one of these artifacts is definitely Natlan themed, so I'm going to assume we're going to be using them for the first couple Natlan characters. Hopefully they do it like Sumeru, where they put out like a 5-star and a 4-star at the same time, because like with Sumeru they put out well, actually, yeah, they put out oh, hang on. Character archive. Yeah, because with Sumeru, they went out and they put Collet and Tignari first. And then in the next patch, they put Dory, I believe. And then in Fontaine, they put out Linny and Lynette. And then I think in what was it, 4.1, they put out Fremine. Yeah. For there he goes. For Inazuma, they only put out Kazuha, but we technically hadn't gotten to Inazuma at that point. I remember having to a lot of people were like, you had to use the Golden Apple Archipelago to get his stuff because we didn't have access to Inazuma yet, but the game or the Mihoyo wanted you to be able to raise this guy. So, which is actually very fitting in his whole like, wandering traveler type of vibe. That he can get what he needs from other places, not just specifically Inazuma. I mean, now it's only Inazuma because you don't have access to the Golden Apple Archipelago, but then after, yeah, that one, he's the first Inazuman character that came out, but that was in 1.7, I think, and then, or no, 1.6, it was 1.6, and then we had 2.0, which a lot of people were calling 1.7/2.0 because it was sort of like, whoa, we should have had 1.7, but it's actually just jumping right to 2.0 and not going through the rest of them. But then we got Ayaka, Sayu, and Yoimiya in that patch. So if they keep going with the theme, they'll probably at least have two new Natlan characters. If not three. I guess it kind of depends, because I think with, what was it, Tignari? I don't remember exactly what was it? 3.0 was Tignari and Collet, but I think the other ones were reruns. I don't remember exactly what rerun it was. I'd have to look it up, but Natlan's gonna be exciting. Just because of the fact that, hey, it's a brand new place. It's kind of funny, I go through this sort of pattern where they'll release a new area, it'll be really cool, we'll play around with it for quite a while. Oops, not far enough.
This is order. Taking a turn for the better.
Strike a pop!
Silence! Order
There it goes. That it's like you'll get a new area and it'll be really cool for 3-4 patches, and then you get to like the 4th patch and you're kind of like, okay, I'm starting to get kind of tired, can we like visit someplace else or learn about the next place or whatever. And then by the time the new place comes, you're kind of like, okay, you think you're done with that area. But then you get into the next area and it's like, oh, it's so cool and nice, but then you're like, oh, I missed the place I was at.
This is order. Solidify. Remember, health comes first. Settle down. Stabilize.
The doctor is seeing. Shut the mining, echo in song!
And the thing is, it happens to me every single time. You know? Like, I went to Inazuma. Inazuma was brand new and cool. And after a while, I was like, okay, I'm starting to get kind of tired. And then uh, we moved into Sumeru, and I was like, oh, I kind of miss Inazuma. And then the same thing happened with Sumeru. And then when we left Sumeru to Fontaine, and I was like, wow, Fontaine is great, but oh gosh, I miss Sumeru. But that's the one nice thing about having your commissions on random.
Order guide you. A bitter pill to swallow. Taking a turn for the better.
Shower me with praise.
Settle down.
Because you can go back in and explore those areas again and be like, oh, I miss this.
Protect you with speed.
There you go. Honestly, I should have brought Navia in here, but it's fine. So how are you? Bleh. How are you all doing? This one. Oh, it's almost Friday. Yeah, it is. Yep. End of the work week. This will be nice. Kokumi is coming along. Alright, and I think the last thing, or one of the last things to do,
A bitter pill to swallow.
is to go fight these soldier guys, because apparently the event bow we're gonna get requires these, and since there's only like 8 of these guys every day, um,
I'll take the lead today.
Stabilize.
you know, you kind of want to do them just because
Hey there! Hey there!
Silence. Mind the side effects. Solidify.
Watch out!
basically I think you kind of want to grab the stuff while you can. To be honest, considering that these statues used to be people, especially guys like this, that's kind of creepy. Like these poor people. Hmm. Honestly, I like how the books kind of move out of the way. It's sort of like very magical. Hey, you guys.
I will have order.
Stabilize.
Coming at ya! Coming at ya!
You know, originally I didn't think these guys were going to be that scary until they start doing the. I was like, oh my gosh, they're zombies. Q's Ghostbuster theme. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm excited for the drip marketing, um, which I think should be something like
Remember,
Monday.
health comes first.
Order guide you. Solidify.
Attack! Coming at ya! Hiya! Ha-ha! Nah! Nah! Ha! Hey there! Hiya!
Because apparently there's going to be a character coming called Emily or Emile or something. Let me open up my book real quick. However, she has apparently so many concept arts, nobody knows which ones they actually picked or if they picked any of them. So they're kind of like, um, which that's the one problem with seeing concept art before you get the actual like character. Because what happens is that people see the concept art and then are all like, oh wow, the concept art's so cool, I really like this version.
Fire! Well, coming at ya!
And then when it ends up not being that version, then everybody's disappointed. So, or not everybody, but the people who
Nah! Watch out!
basically when it ends up not being the concept art that they like. Like, I know it's kind of funny with Gongming. Okay, so with Gongming, he came out the way he is in the game, but in his concept art he actually had was like gold eyes and like more whitish hair. He kind of looked like Jing Hu if Jing Huan had a son, like a biological son, that's what the concept art for Gongming would have been. And then Gongming came out the way he did, which he's still very cool, but a lot of people had really liked his concept art. And what makes this even funnier though is that the whole kind of lion boy concept actually does exist in Wuthering Waves, which Wuthering Waves did not steal the concept because they had made theirs way before Mihoyo had even started thinking about Gongming, apparently. But it was just kind of funny of like, oh, you want the concept art Gongming? Well, go over to Wuthering Waves. It's Ling Yang.
This is order. Stabilize.
Proper send off from the Cena with love. Hey there!
Settle down.
A bitter pill to swallow.
That guy glitched for a second. He was like, "Oh, okay, I'm conking out," and he just suddenly stood back up straight. Like, I'm just gonna statue my way out of this. But yeah, 4.7 is gonna be our last official Fontaine patch. And then after that, we're gonna have 4.8, which will be the summer event, which I don't know if they're gonna bring back the Golden Apple Archipelago, or if they're going to be bringing back the whatchamacallit, the circus with the um roller coaster and stuff from last time, or if they're gonna make something completely different. If they do make something different, it'll probably have like Fontaine assets to it, so like the buildings and plant life and stuff like that. So we'll still get like one more taste of Fontaine, but yep, 4.7 is pretty much it for a little bit. I mean, there's nothing saying they can't come back and add more, but because I mean, hey, they added Chen Yu Vale, and that's part of Leeway, so but yeah, I think let's see, how did it work? Yeah, so we had 4.0, and we got like this part, and then we had this stuff added, or I think it was actually this stuff added and then this stuff added, and then in 4.4 it was, yeah, because I think 4.4 was Lantern Right. We got Chenyu Vale, and then in 4.5 we didn't get any new area, and then 4.6 we got this area, and that's kind of supposedly wraps up Fontaine. Of course, you know, there's still all this area like up here and down here, although how that's going to hook up and what part that's going to be, I'm not 100% sure. According to the guy that was doing the Saurian event right now, the one where you fight the bosses, he said that if you go to Natlan through Sumeru, so meaning that Natlan is probably either going to be like here or like over here. I mean, it would be interesting if Natlan was here. Although it would make sense, to be honest, because if we're thinking about Natlan being here and then Shesnaya being a northern area being up here, because it's like, okay, here's the coldest area here, and then here's the hottest area here. It would also fill in all of this area too. Let's see, will there be more underwater travel? As far as I know, well, I guess it depends on what you mean. From what I saw from the whatchamacallit, from the Natlan teaser, we do have the ability apparently to swim with the I guess you call it the Hydrosaurian. And he not only can, or he, they, them, can not only swim through the water, but they also swim through lava. So I guess in that way you do still get some water travel. Underwater, I don't know. I mean, if you look up at here, it definitely looks like we'll probably get a little tiny bit more whenever this area gets full. Because, like, if we look at this in the sense of, okay, all the area on the shelf here is diveable fontaine water, you know, like, it keeps going in this direction, but we just can't get there yet. So. Yeah, probably not on fontaine scale. I think underwater diving fontaine style is specific to fontaine. It's its gimmick. But I think we probably will get a little bit more of diveable area in fontaine. I was kind of disappointed that, come on, map. I'm clicking and dragging and it's not going. I was kind of disappointed that this area here isn't really diveable. I mean, it is if you go into this area, but I mean, I was hoping you could kind of like dive into this area from up here, not have to take like a whole tunnel system and stuff like in Economia. I know I did mention when I was doing the survey, I had suggested that maybe over time they could like add in a few more islands because this area is very empty. I think some people were kind of disappointed because while they liked Paracore and they liked the what is this? The Sea of Bygone Eras, they like that. This whole area here is just so stinking empty. I mean, you can take a boat around, but there's like nothing there. There's no, you know, there's no hilly churls, there's no chests, there's no little islands, there's nothing. It's just empty. And then we even got a little bit more of Sumeru up here, but people said there's nothing there. There was like a few chests maybe. And people were kind of disappointed. So it could be that there might be stuff added in there later. And also too, they're working on Natlan, so they probably did it like try to do bare bones as much as they could because they're working on Natlan. But hopefully they'll come back and visit this area someday, so it's not just so empty. Sky Islands, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. You could have Sky Islands. I mean, I know that. Where are we? Cannot see this guy from here. Let me go up. Actually, I mean, it's going to be very interesting because we're finishing up Fontaine. We're going to go to Natland after the summer patch. And then after Natland, we're going to go to Shastaya. And then we're going to go where we're going to have the basically Abyss / Celestial or Celestia chapter. And so I have a feeling we are going to be going to Celestia up there. However, I don't know how big it's going to be or how much we're going to be able to stay there or what. I mean, it could just be like a stage or something. Hang on a second. Got to adjust a little. You know, I mean, I'm hoping it kind of consists of pretty much a whole nother region. It's been staring at us throughout the entire time. But I don't know. Also, too, the whole Teyvat chapter for Genshin, or Teyvat, is only one chapter. Right? It's only one section. I know a lot of people have said things like, oh, once we find our sibling, that's it, the game's gonna end, and blah blah blah. But the thing is, if you look at it, it says, oh, chapter 1.
Solidify.
So basically, once we finish up with Celestia and get our sibling back or fight them or whatever's going to happen, we'll be going on to probably another area, because like Teyvat is only like one continent in the entire world. So now I don't know if we'd stick around. Yeah, it will only end when people aren't playing. True. Yeah, well, considering that Genshin makes MiHoYo so much money, it would be a really bad decision for them to be like, oh, it's not our pet project, we love Honkai too much, and then they kill it. It's like, you're just gonna throw money down the drain then. Look how pretty that is. Those are the pinks. Now, the question, of course, is that once Lumine and Ether kind of find each other again, it's how to put it. It's kind of the point of like in Honkai Impact, okay, they just went to their part 2. And for that one, they actually kind of made up a whole new whoops. Like, Zhongli, where you sliding? Because the thing is, in Honkai Impact 3rd, they did their whole thing with Kiana and Mei and Bronya and stuff, and then they decided to move on to a part 2 where they basically got a new main character, new characters. The other characters still exist, and they are mentioned every once in a while, but it's definitely a whole thing of, oh, we're focusing on these new characters now. So that kind of ends up being a question of, if once we finish the Teyvat chapter, are we still going to be hanging around with Lumine and Ether? Or are we going to be starting off with two new protagonists? And we'll still, of course, have access to all of our characters. Like, they're not going to get taken away from us. But that would actually be kind of interesting. Be kind of like, oh, here, you were playing into that, and now you are a new main character, and it's in a completely other continent, and then at some point we'll run into Lumine and Ether as they're, retired or something. It's kind of like with Pokemon games. Like you have, Pokemon Red and Blue, and you have that whole story, and then you start off with Pokemon Silver and Gold, and that's you start off as a completely new character in a completely new region. However, you can still interact with the characters from Red and Blue, because they do still exist. It's just that Silver and Gold is like 2 or 3 years in the future.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory? Osmanthus.
But anyway, I mean, we're gonna go into Natland, and so that's gonna be another year. So that's 2025. Well, it's kind of weird, because with the way this whole thing works, it's like, it does take a year, but it's like it's like a school year. It starts off in summer and then ends in the next summer. So it's not like, starts in January, ends in December. It goes, it's a half half year of the first year and then half year of the second year. So we're starting Atlan in 2024. We'll finish it in 2025, and that's when we're going to be starting Shiznaya. So we will be figuring out what happens after Shiznaya in 2026. And then we'll be finishing whatever happens after Shiznaya in 2027. So at 2027, which is 3 years from now, we'll find out on part 2 or chapter 2 or whatever.
Around us all follow
Oh.
a set of laws.
All right, let's see.
But if you never test the limits, how can anyone know where the boundaries of these laws are?
Like, Baizu, don't get too sussy on us. You don't need any more hate. Like, it's cute that you're a little sussy, but just be careful. The one thing is about with Baizu is I'm glad that in the game, the people of Liyue apparently really love him. You know, like, he is the guy who heals your ouchies. You know? I mean, apparently, even in his story, or his whatchamacallit, his these pits, these character stories. There's part in here where he mentions that to thank him for everything that he's done and to thank the pharmacy, the people of Liyue give him and Chi-Chi and Gui so much food that they're always like well fed. Because the thing is that Baizu actually will, if you can't afford treatment, he will still treat you. And he just kind of works in a I think it's the way it is. It's like if he pretty sure you can afford it, he will charge you. But if you can't afford it, he will not charge you or do whatever he can to limit the amount, the cost. So like if you're a really rich person and you come in and he knows you can whatchamacallit, he knows you can afford it, he will up the price a little bit so that he doesn't have to charge people who can't afford it. That's why he charges so much for the everlasting incense. Yeah. When we show up with Zhongli, because I'm pretty sure he knows that the Fatui are backing Zhongli at the time. It's like he either knows that Zhongli is Rex Lapis, or he knows that Tartaglia was backing Zhongli. And with that, he's like, oh, well, it's just Fatui money, right? But then again, I think with Baizu's characterization, it took so long for them to make him playable, they kind of kept changing their minds. Also, I think like right before he came out, they made Pantalone, who looks a lot like Baizu, and I think they kind of wanted Pantalone to be the more dangerous.
Take ample time to pause and appreciate the wondrous scenery along the way.
You're about to collapse, aren't you?
That I think they wanted Pantalone to be the more kind of sussy, you know, elegant one. And so they basically changed Baizu into being super, super nice guy. I also think that what happened was they kind of made a mistake. Because I think what happened is that they gave us so little information about him, and then it just sort of festered over a long period. And and so Baizu ended up gaining a lot of hate in the player base for basically no reason. So when he finally came out, they were like, okay, we gotta backtrack because now everybody thinks he's a horrible guy who's hating who's hurting Chi-Chi, and that is not what he is at all. Especially since he's supposed to be representing, Chinese medicine as well as the story of the White Snake, which are very well beloved in China. So, you kind of don't want. Let's see. Let's go. Let's do the Navia line. You kind of don't want to be spitting on your own traditional aspects. Let's see what. Man, other pharmacies must hate this guy. Yeah, it's like those. What is that? Those ads where it says something like, oh, doctors hate her. She did this and lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks. Let's ride the aqua bus. We can listen to. How do you do? So, see you. So where are we? So what is this? When does the I like that. When does the bus leave? And she's like, right now. Suddenly there's a giant jerk and we move. So where are we? This aqua bus is bound for Irenaeus. Points of interest include the Fountain of Lucine and the Opera Epicles. I never actually talked to these people, so what is this? Navia line. This aqua bus is bound for Irenaeus. Points. Okay. Kind of just says the same thing. You. When does the immediately?
Welcome, passengers from abroad. Tour guide Elfan, at your service. The destination of this aquabus is Irenaeus. The island experiences rainy weather all year round. I do not know if this is due to the frequent visits of Lady Farina and the Chief Justice. I recommend that all passengers bring a raincoat. If you haven't got one and need to buy one now, don't worry. The Navia line runs all day, so you can simply catch the next boat. Some people worry that the success of the engineers in improving Mecha will result in the replacement of humans and Melazines in Fontaine. Passengers, these fears are unfounded. Mecha have no need for food, clothing, and shelter, nor do they seek happiness and entertainment, and will not spend a single mora in pursuit of these. In these aspects, we possess advantages that machines cannot hope to surpass.
We keep the economy going. I also agree with you. More voiced NPCs would be really cool.
We've arrived right on schedule at Marcotte Station, Irenaeus.
Jeez.
Please take note that cleanliness expectations are high in this area. Littering is heavily penalized and in some cases may even carry a prison sentence.
Oh my gosh, what? Really?
So, I caution you against eating anything while enjoying the scenery.
Oh my gosh. Ooh. Are working to improve the aquabus speed. I was going to say that it was really beautiful, but you haven't heard what I think of its speed yet. I do think so. I say the mellow scenes are very pretty. I like their colors and everything. They're really nice. They're also super cute. The one thing is like I kind of wish that Sigewinne had a little bit more Melusine design. like with coloring and stuff, instead of her just kind of looking like a little girl with, you know, feelers and wings and a little tail. But I believe we are gonna figure out why she looks more human during her story quest. So yeah, originally I was gonna roll for her, but I heard that I don't know if you call her, if you'd say her name Emily or Emile. I'm gonna say Emily because she is a girl and Emile is a guy name, as far as I know. Um, but apparently Emily is a perfumer, and it will depend on how she looks. But I heard that she's Dendro, and the thing is, if you let's see, does they have a character archive? Own elemental type. Yeah, if you look, I have every single Dendro character. So part of me kind of wants to make sure I keep doing that. Just because I think they're the only group I have everybody of. Yeah, because I'm missing Shenhe, Risley, and Eula. Pyro, I'm missing Linny and Chevris. Hydro, missing Nilu. Got everybody in Dendro. I'm missing Kaching. Although if Kaching ever shows up, I actually will have all the Electros, which is kind of neat. She just has to come home. Geo, I'm missing Albedo and Shiori, and for Animo, I'm missing Zhao and Kazuha. So, not too bad, I guess, but it would be nice to be like, yeah, I'm still Dendro Haver. It kind of just ended up happening accidentally, because originally, like, I wasn't gonna roll for Al Hytham and everything. I'm glad I did though, because originally I thought his personality was a little too rash, or no, not rash, brash, like blunt. Um, at least in the English version, but in the last event where he, or not event, but the Sino story quest, when he and Kaveh showed up, they actually, you know, didn't snipe and fight against each other. And I was kind of like, oh, that's nice. I'm glad they're not fighting all the time. Because for me, I was like, come back, your fish. I was sort of Al Hytham was, to me, like personality wise, was a type of character where I looked at him, he looked really hot, and I was like, oh, maybe I could like him. And then he'd open his mouth and he'd say something really upsetting, and I'd be like, oh. And then he'd continue on and he would start saying more things and he'd be like, okay. And then suddenly he'd say more things and I'd be like, oh. So, but through the Sino quest, he actually got through the whole thing without making me feel sad. So, on one hand, I think I'm kind of like, oh, it would be nice to be able to still have all the Dendro characters. And on the other hand, I'll have to see exactly how Emily looks, because she has so many concept arts that nobody really knows what she actually looks like. And so everybody's just kind of like sitting there with bated breath, being like, okay, what's her drip marketing gonna look like? And is it going to be a design that I like? Blip. It's kind of weird though too because considering her drip marketing is gonna be on like Monday or something or whatever, um, you would think that there would be a little bit more like ironed out. Oh, what does her design look like? But it's still so up in the air. That we really have no idea. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you're technically not supposed to know what the characters look like until the drip marketing. It's probably better off that way at some point too, because basically if you put your hopes too much on a certain design or whatever and then it ends up not being true, then you're just disappointing yourself. I mean, I remember during the first Lantern Rite, okay, we had gotten news about Hu Tao. Um, I think it was what was it? It was banners were gonna be Kaching, Zhao, and Hu Tao. However, Mihoyo wanted to keep Hu Tao kind of a secret, so during the live stream, they didn't tell us that oh, there's gonna be a secret third banner, which was gonna be Hu Tao. Because they didn't tell us, but people knew that Hu Tao existed because of the beta, there was a bunch of really angry people who were all like, you know, oh gosh, you lied to us, you didn't give us Hu Tao, blah 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 blah, and they were really upset about it and everything. And um, but it was so weird because it was like they were complaining about something they weren't even supposed to know about. You know, it's kind of like the equivalent of like, let's say someone writes a book and it gets leaked, and then right before the book goes to publishing they decide to change the ending, and so they change the ending, send it to the publisher, people buy the book, and then come back and yell at the author about why did you use this ending, I like the other ending better. And the authors meanwhile like, what, wait a minute, what other ending? You're not supposed, you weren't supposed to know there was another ending. How did you find that out? Ouch, ouch. You know, I think Blaze keeps mentioning it too. He's like, it's not like, don't think of it as official until it actually comes out. Because if you, I mean, I remember, especially in the early days of Genshin, where you'd have all these people who'd be like, they just wanted clout, and so they would be making up stuff. Like, I remember one of them was like, oh, uh, they're going to have some sort of mechanic where the characters are going to get dirty, and then you have to step um, into water to get clean and stuff like that, and it never happened. Which I'm kind of glad for. I would not like that mechanic, but it was like, yeah, people make stuff up all the time just to get attention. And even too with the people who you could consider the like reliable leakers, it's still the point that Mihoyo could change things at the last minute. So you're better off just waiting for official word. I mean, I guess you could still kind of like get somewhat excited for it and everything, but what is that that's saying? Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Ugh. Anyway. Honestly, these pillars are so pretty. Also, Genshin music is really beautiful. Um, it's kind of funny. Like the music is one of the things that everybody seems to respect, or most people respect in the fandom. Because I know that one time, what was it? It was Yu Peng Cheng. I think that's how what his name was. Uh, the some of the music got leaked, and he basically asked people, "Oh, please don't don't take that as the final version. Don't spread it around because it's not done yet." And everybody respected that man so much, they basically all agreed, "Yes, sir," and people weren't spreading it around. They respected that man, and and he did leave Genshin to go work on other things, but he apparently trained uh all the like young musicians under him. So while they do have their own, how you put it, the music is their own. He basically kind of helped them continue on with the Genshin theme and how it sounds. Like I believe it's like Fontaine is not him at all. And Fontaine has some beautiful music. So let's pick up a few rocks and then I think we'll wrap it up. I think one of my favorite music pieces is Here in the Chasm. That kind of like slow string with the deep hums. Just so relaxing. I do really hope we get this music for the teapot one day. I would definitely use it. I'm really kind of surprised that we haven't gotten it. But maybe someday. Yeah. To be honest, I think Genshin is the only game that I have never taken a break from. You know, like I like a lot of other games. Like I play Honkai Star Rail, I play Animal Crossing, I play Pokemon. But with all those, I do, take a break. I come back to them, but most of the time I'm just like, okay. I mean, for games like Pokemon and Animal Crossing, like I know they're gonna be there, and when I get back and, excuse me, I'm not gonna miss very much. You know, But for Genshin, I like so many of the characters that I know if I like take a break, like don't log in for a month, that's a month of Primo Gems I missed out on, and therefore a month of uh trying to rush to catch up. Because the thing is the way is if I do it this way, I never have to worry about uh basically like buying Primo Gems wholesale or whatever. I'll be streaming more Genshin again too because the Twitch streamer event will be happening or starting again. So oops, no. Run button. Apparently let's see, where is it? This one. Yeah. The talking stick is actually from Natland. It says most people will find this obsidian inlaid club quite convincing indeed. Talking stick. Yeah. Traversing the rugged wilds where dragons roam, that wilderness of hot springs and lava. So this is for Natland. Yeah, I really am hoping that at least half of the playable Natlan characters have darker skin. and stuff just to kind of balance out everything. Um, at least a little bit. You know, just because I mean, it'd be nice to have uh, more darker skinned characters, considering what I think with Sethos we have. Let's see, Kaya, Zinyan, Sino, Dia, Candice, and now Sethos. So out of all the characters we have 6 dark skinned characters. So it would be nice to have a few more. Let's see. There we go, Natlin. It even says it right here. Brother amongst brothers. I like this. Zanhaj had been persuaded by the talking stick before, so he beat him up. Oh no. This makes me wonder if Marjavari is in Natland. Hmm. This is a very interesting tale. We'll probably see a lot of these names when we actually get to Natland. That'll be kind of cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I believe this is one of those ones that you get from the battle pass too, so. Alright, well, it has gotten late and I'm getting tired, so I think we will wrap it up for tonight. Thank you everybody who joined. Um, like I said, I'll probably be streaming Wuthering Waves tomorrow evening. We'll be kind of going around, probably doing some echoes. I think maybe we'll do Ji quest. We might do Ling Yang's though. I have a bunch of quests I have to do. I have like a sheet of quests in Wuthering Waves that still need to be done. So, but again, there's no real rush. Um, Considering I can think a patch is like 40 something days, so and we only got through the first 7, so there you go with that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you have a great rest of the evening or morning, if it depending on your time zone. And I will see you again later. Okay. Bye. I'm really glad you guys came too, by the way. So thanks so much.